Hey, Kaz.
All right.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. I don't know why my camera's so like fuzzy, but go with it.
Oh, that's so nerve-wracking trying to log on to the right place.
I know. I was like, oh my god, there's different rooms. Where do I go?
There's different rooms, and I'm listening to Kelly, and I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking I'm joining the lobby of that one, and I'm joining as a speaker here, and I don't know. Oh, it was just that's so nerve-wracking. I'm so glad to see you. What a relief. Somebody
doing the same thing, but Lucy's like, oh, I don't know where I'm going.
Where's Lucy? Is she
She's
gone away?
Yeah, I can message her and just find out.
It could be just us.
Yeah, let me see what she says. You.
My God, I got the recycling screaming outside.
Oh, have you? I'm at the back of the house, thankfully. So I don't have anything like that.
So I'm going to introduce you briefly, aren't I? And then I'm going to, and then you're going to speak between you both, and then we're going to do some questions and whatever at the end. I mean, I'm not doing much, really introducing you, saying hi.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we've got a little plan in place. We'll just go through we've got a PowerPoint presentation thing, so we'll just go through that and what HERGAMETOO is about and stuff like that.
And then I'll go through the chat box and see if there's any other stuff on that and pick up from stuff. Were you listening to Kelly then before, or?
No, I've only just got on.
That's fine. So I'll see what's relevant there.
Here she is.
I presume they'll just come to us and patch us in live, I guess, won't they?
I think so, yeah. See what happens.
We're probably broadcasting now. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, hello, I'm here. Let me just start my video. There we go.
Hey.
Oh.
Sorry, it was just I realized I was pressing on the wrong thing. I was like, no, I know I'm on here, but I don't know where I am. Thanks for
that. No, that's all right.
Morning, Lucy.
Morning.
You right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All set?
Yeah. I think we've sent over the presentation. Is that going to be shared, or
I think the tech guys do it, don't they?
Oh, the tech guys do it. Yeah.
I presume so. So you don't need to share your screen or anything.
That's all right. I was thinking that it'd be the tech guys. Fab. Thank you.
I presume.
Do they control it for us though? Because obviously we talk slide by slide. Like, how do they know when to go next?
Or do we just tell them?
Maybe, yeah.
You'd probably tell them. I'd prompt them, yeah.
Okay. Neat.
Are you wearing your top, Kaz?
Yeah.
I didn't know what to wear. I was dressed up a bit more smartly.
Are you? Oh no,
I didn't know what to wear.
Up there. It's been so busy today, isn't it, Luce?
My phone, God. I honestly put the day off work thinking, oh, it'd be nice to have a quiet afternoon. No,
that's not happening.
Because you're flying along now, is that right? Is this on HERGAMETOO? You've been busy all morning on that. What, just stuff?
Yeah. So this morning alone, we've partnered with Portishead, Port Vale Supporters Club, and announced a new ambassador. West Bromwich Albion, Bradford City, Birmingham City, Hull City, a football academy in Bahrain, and I think Cardiff are going to be in at 11. So whilst we're on,
flip me. So it's just going mad.
It's mad, honestly. I don't think I thought our notifications were mad the first day we did it, but today I'm just trying to keep up as much as possible, and I can't. I feel bad because I feel like we're going to neglect the clubs on Instagram, but we just physically, every time I'm linking,
Morning, Tom.
I should have got a cup of tea.
Yeah,
I've got water.
You've got water. That's what I thought. If your throat goes, yeah, you've done well. Tom, can you hear us?
I can't hear you. I'm just I'm conscious of it's over to you guys. So I think we're up and running and recording. So, and you've just been directed from the main session to here. So over to you.
Well, thanks, Tom. Yeah, no, I just want to say good morning to everybody and just say, I mean, what a great pleasure that was listening to Kelly there. And thanks for Anne-Marie's obviously introduction, just that little bit delayed at the beginning, but we're up and running and enjoying a fascinating insight into the world game and about women's football from Kelly and all her experiences. So that was incredibly inspirational, and just want to thank her for all that. We're going to move on now to dealing with sexism in football, and two girls I know well and have met before and admired the work that's been done with HERGAMETOO over the last sort of 12 months, I guess. You must be coming up to the first birthday, or is that soon, girls?
Yeah, 15th of May.
Yeah,
so, it's really remarkable what you've achieved, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about it. I want to introduce you to Lucy Ford and Kaz May, both from Bristol Rovers fans, one of my first actually professional club, way back. I won't say when, but it was a long time ago. And I had a great time in Bristol, loved the energy of the people, taught me so much about the game. And I was privileged to be asked to, chair this session this morning, because, my route into football was a long time ago, but it was inspired by my mum, actually. My dad left when I was young, and I grew up with my mum and two sisters, and she was the one that really sort of pushed me to get into football when I quit school. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. And, ever since, I owe so much to her as a great inspiration for me. And so I want to listen to the girls. I know you're going to give a presentation and talk about what HERGAMETOO stands for, and what the journey's been like and what issues you face. So I'll hand you over.
Right. Thank you. I'm unsure where this presentation is and if anyone can see it, but I'm happy just to talk and hope that it kind of pops up somewhere. So I'm Kaz, and I'm the founder of HERGAMETOO. As John said, I'm a Bristol Rovers fan, and we founded this campaign based on our own experiences in football of sexism. Obviously, we're two girls, and we are the minority, unfortunately. When we go to games, we found that it's surrounded by men, which is unfortunate because we do want more women involved. So we sort of thought about why nothing has ever been done to encourage more women to go to games, and nothing's ever been done to tackle the misogyny and sexism that surrounds football. So together we formed HERGAMETOO. Thankfully, we support the same club. Lucy, you're the same as me, aren't you? With started at 12 years old.
Yeah. So I'm Lucy. I'm also a Bristol Rovers fan and co-founder of HERGAMETOO. So I first started going to games in 2006. So it's quite funny that my second ever game was Kaz's first ever game. So we've been going for a long time now. And our experiences have been very, very similar growing up. Obviously both love the club that we support. But yeah, noticing that we are in the minority. So Kaz has attended games with her mum, and I've attended games with my dad and my granddad. So I've definitely gone to the pubs, away games, and looked around and been one of very, very few girls and women in the game watching our club. I've just seen something pop up about the
let me see if I can get it up.
Let's see if we can do that.
Can you see this?
Yes, I can. Hopefully everyone else can.
Hopefully. So as we said, we're HERGAMETOO. So then with our experiences as football fans and sexism, we decided to start up a campaign called HERGAMETOO, because like I said earlier, it's nothing that's ever really been a thing before, and we just wanted to know why that wasn't a thing and what we can do to change the mindsets of people. So we were founded, there was 12 of us, so me, Lucy and 10 others founded HERGAMETOO. These are all girls that we know on social media, and we knew that they were passionate about this idea and that they'd have their own experiences themselves. It was an idea that sort of came about, and then we did it pretty quickly, didn't we, Lucy?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the day that Kaz came to me for the idea, and I think it was 25th of April, and by the 15th of May the video had come out. So it was a really, really quick turnaround. I think when obviously Kaz came to me with the idea, and then obviously we then went to the other girls that we followed on social media, we were all in a Twitter group chat, which is quite weird to say because all of the girls involved have all had sexist comments said to them either online or in person, just for being female football fans. And a couple of the girls involved were also media officers at their clubs at that time as well. And they've obviously gone on to different roles now, but they had experiences of sexist comments. And it was just kind of weird, like using social media even though it was something so negative that, you know, that really kind of started the campaign, something so positive came from it. So you know, if we had to decide the name when we wanted to launch, that was quite funny to kind of think of the name, and there was lots of different names we were trying to think of, and then I think it was actually Izzy, who's one of the Newport County fans, and she said HERGAMETOO, and as soon as she put it in the chat, I was like, that's it. I just knew straight away. And you know, now seeing how far we've come, you know, and just seeing the hashtag just used everywhere, so quick, so snappy, and that thing, it sums up what we're about, really.
And what I quite liked about the video as well is that we had a mix of Rovers and City fans, you know, showing that rivalries aside, we're all going to stand up together against sexism, which we thought was quite a nice idea. And we get on with those girls really well, you know, there's no hostility towards each other there. So our aims, obviously they keep developing as we develop as a campaign, but initially we wanted to create awareness, we want to educate, we want to do research, so we conducted a survey, which we could talk about later on. Develop a strong sense of community, which we're doing really nicely. We've got ambassadors from lots of different clubs. We've got a big WhatsApp group where we all share ideas, share concerns, share stories, which is really lovely. Create regular content to champion women in football. So we want to get it out there that there's women that do work in football and do play in football that are actually very good at what they do. So for example, Bristol Rovers have a female physio who's brilliant. So we're working with the club to champion her and get her out there and show that she's brilliant. Create strong relationships with clubs. So it's been manic with the clubs that we've partnered with, and they've been great in having that pledge with us to stamp out sexism. Club trusts and communities as well is also one that we're quite keen on, because we can use those trusts to go into schools and do that education side of things. We're keen to have a presence at football grounds. So we had a lovely story, wasn't it, Lucy, that woman from Iran that went to Exeter. Yeah. And because she saw the HERGAMETOO around Exeter Stadium, she felt welcome to go to Exeter, and it was her first ever football match, because in her country women are banned from watching football, which is crazy. So it's so simple as just having the HERGAMETOO logo or the hashtag somewhere in the stadium on social channels, just to make women feel welcome and want to go. Continue to campaign against sexism in football. I mean, the last 9 months it's been what we've been doing every day, so it's been pretty full on. And campaign against online abuse, obviously that's a whole another thing to tackle, but we are fully behind being against online abuse. Obviously we've had our fair share since starting up this campaign, which has not been the best, but you know, that's what our support group's for, that's what we got each other for, so we get through it.
Yeah, so this is our team. So at the moment it's kind of split into our lead team. We're actually very excitingly in the latter stages of setting up as a CIC, which means we'll be officially registered, which is really exciting, and then we can continue to do more things. So there's 5 of us on the lead team. So Kaz, who founded the campaign, fellow Bristol Rovers fan, she, Kaz does so much for us, and I speak on behalf of all the girls to say how appreciative we are of her. And the video, her day job is as an edit assistant, so the video content that came out, that is one of the main comments we did get, is when the video came out they said how impressive and professional it looked, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely Kaz's work, because I was like, I wouldn't even know where to begin to do that sort of thing. And obviously, I think the video's on 1.9 million views, which is incredible.
So close to 2 million, so close.
I know. I was even looking today, and I think even the likes have gone up to 22.8 million and over 11 million impressions, which is, even that, just to say that out loud, is just crazy. And then there's me. So I'm obviously, all the girls actually involved all have day jobs as well, so we kind of do that, we balance this on top of our day jobs. So yeah, I like to do lots of the emails and try and do social media. I kind of volunteered with the non-league club a couple of years ago, so I kind of like writing the tweets or replying to people, and just obviously sharing the HERGAMETOO message as much as possible. I've obviously been attending different games, different fixtures over the last kind of couple of weekends, which is really, really exciting, and just kind of spreading the HERGAMETOO message. So Leah is our graphic designer, and she really helps us with our club specific posters, which is amazing. And especially at the moment where we've had so many partnerships. I mean, we were just talking about it before we started. I think just this morning we've had 7 or 8 partnerships come out, which, I mean, obviously it's amazing because it's International Women's Day, but you know, it is down to a lot of, you know, all the girls' hard work, you know, to get these partnerships over the line and, you know, get the graphics out and ready. So, you know, clubs all around the country can, you know, can see the HERGAMETOO message. And then there's Eve. She's incredible as well. Her community work at Leicester City is brilliant, and she's been working really, really hard on that. And also her links to Scotland as well. She's been really, really amazing in getting our partnerships up there. So yeah, she's really, really good, and you know, with her inclusivity and stuff. And then Amy, she is a Swansea City fan, and she actually works in, you know, and stage manager for Disney, and funny enough, she's in Bristol at the moment, which is really lovely, so we can see her. But yeah, she's been really, really helpful with a number of our different partnerships, from, you know, supporting Swansea City, Canaries Trust, which just came out on the weekend, as well as so many grassroots clubs as well.
And then we have our lovely Nat, who is a director at Fair Game, and she is wonderful. She's so experienced, and she actually approached us, which blew our minds really, because she is such a wonderful woman and she's got so much experience. She is now the COO at FC United of Manchester, which is an amazing role for her, but she's still very dedicated to helping out with HERGAMETOO. And the advice she gives us and all of the expertise she has on things like setting up a CIC is so valuable to us. Obviously, she's had experience working at Football League clubs. She was the managing director at Oldham Athletic, who we recently partnered with. So it's so amazing to have her on board, and we're just so grateful to have her there just to guide us, because at the end of the day, we are just female football fans who have started this movement based on our own experiences, but then everything else that's sort of growing from that, we need guidance from people that know it best. So we're just so grateful to have her on board.
Yeah, so obviously the responsibilities of the league team, obviously to represent and champion HERGAMETOO and messaging, so like sharing social posts, you know, whether we're partnering with a club, whether it's a grassroots club or, you know, a football league club, a Premier League club. Yeah, obviously responding to people on email, and that, I can say, we get a lot of emails, especially recently. But you know, we all dip in and we will try and help out as much as we can, especially, you know, with the balance of our day jobs. But you know, we're all of the girls involved on the league team especially are so dedicated to what we're doing, and working really, really hard to kind of get, you know, to get these partnerships up and running. Obviously managing social media as well, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn and Facebook. And obviously attending regular meetings with clubs, organisation, companies, you know, to organise the, you know, the partnerships, get them up and running, see how we can, you know, support these clubs. Yeah, obviously we've got to attend our regular admin meetings, you know, to see, you know, what obviously this has been kind of our biggest priority at the moment, has been International Women's Day. But then obviously afterwards, it'd be looking at, you know, what's next. Obviously the season is coming to an end soon, so it might be, I wouldn't say quieter, is probably the wrong word to use, but there might be a bit of time where, you know, there's other, I mean, there is something else coming, because the, you know, the Women's Euros are coming in. You know, we want to support, we'll obviously want to support that. Me and Kaz are both attending the game ourselves, which we're really excited. So, you know, champion kind of content around that. Yeah, obviously working with the football clubs on the reporting systems and stadium presence. And that kind of feeds into our ambassadors as well, which I know Kaz will talk about in a minute. But that's been really, really important, because all of our professional club partnerships have all now got a reporting system in place that may have not been in place before. And with that, you know, they can, you know, fans can report any instances that happen in the grounds. Yeah, obviously promotion materials to the clubs and organisations. So obviously the posters, flyers have been really good. I actually was attending Reading FC Women on Sunday, and I handed out a lot of these flyers, as well as posters for their dedicated game on Saturday. And it was just amazing seeing, you know, people take pictures and how pleased they were. You know, people were coming up saying, "Oh, can I have one?" Or there was actually a man who came up to me and said his daughter was on the poster, not ours, of the, and he said, "Oh, can I just take loads? I want to give it out to the school and to our club so she can, you know, everyone can attend that game." And it was such a proud moment, because obviously it was his daughter, but he was also so pleased that, you know, what the club were supporting. Yeah, so obviously we also have to, you know, keep track of all our partnerships, which at the moment is, you know, it's amazing. I think we're officially over 100 now. I mean, the exact number we'd probably have to work out, have to go back through the spreadsheet, but I would say maybe pushing 110 as of today.
110, I was going to say 110, 150.
Yeah, which is incredible, you know, when we're only, I think, 10 months old on the 15th of March. And then, yeah, obviously attending any events and dedicated fixtures, filing reports and chasing up with the clubs. And obviously with that, reporting back on the match day experience for our ambassadors. Yeah, obviously we've got 2 merchandise sellers, which we'll go into a little bit later, who donate profits to grassroots women clubs, and obviously managing those funds and logging any donations. And then one of our key aims, and you know, in the long term, is to kind of create these education modules, which will hopefully be going into schools and other education pathways.
So it's busy.
Very busy.
Cut a long story short. So on top of our lead team, we then have the ambassadors. Obviously, we're conscious that not everyone has the time to dedicate to this campaign. Like, we barely have the time, so it's kind of like people's jobs are full on. Some people don't have opportunities to dip out on their lunch break and do stuff. So we've got a slightly less time consuming role, which is the ambassador role, and these girls basically just look after their own clubs, and then they sort of have their little teams within their clubs. So these girls co-founded the campaign with us, but weren't able to dedicate as much time as the lead team, so then they are just solely looking after their own club. So Bobby and Emily today had secured partnerships with their home club. So Hull have announced a partnership and Emily have announced a partnership, and that was both their own doing. Newport and Izzy and Caitlin led the way for Newport on the weekend, that did a dedicated International Women's Day fixture. It just kind of takes the load off us a little bit when we've got all the clubs across the UK to look after. It's nice to have these girls looking after their own clubs, and Jess did a brilliant job with Leeds and their dedicated fixture on Sky Sports, we're so grateful for all the work these ambassadors do.
Yeah, and so we've also got ambassadors from other clubs as well, who weren't initially part of the first 12, but have helped, you know, to organise partnerships with their own clubs. For example, Cardiff City, so Brittany's team are going to announce, I think, in the next 10 minutes actually, which is really exciting. With Doncaster, they set up a female supporters group, and also with Cambridge as well, they've got one as well, the Amber Bells. And obviously on the weekend they had their own dedicated fixture, and really were celebrating, you know, the work of the Amber Bells, which is amazing. And you know, Michelle with Preston, she kind of led the way with her partnership, and that was announced on Friday last week. And Coventry as well are doing their dedicated fixture today. I think also they're having their programs all dedicated to women, which I think is so lovely. And so yeah, so all the ambassadors involved we're really grateful for. And yeah, we've been kind of recruiting them through the forms on our website, or, you know, people have been reaching out to us on social media, which is amazing. And that's the thing, especially with the ambassador form, we've had so many amazing, incredible women come forward and say, you know, I want to represent my club. And when we've got one in place, it's so hard, because you're like, oh, you know, everyone's amazing, we want everyone to be a part of it. So yeah, that's kind of where we kind of create the advocate role. So they kind of support these ambassadors. So the ambassadors will kind of look after their advocates, and you know spread the HERGAMETOO message as well, but they kind of lead into the ambassadors, who then lead into us. But you know, all the ambassadors we recruited so far have all expressed their passion for HERGAMETOO, you know, seeing it from the very beginning. And that for me is probably one of the things I'm most proud of, because, you know, these girls we didn't know from the beginning, and you know, just to see how proud they are, you know, when their teams you know, partnered with us, or not even their own team, like other teams, and you know, to see the work that we were all doing together, because it is such a collective effort, and they're really championing each other, and it just makes me so proud to see that.
So yeah, they've been brilliant, and they've really helped us. So it's kind of less like I said earlier, time consuming to what the lead team do, but it's basically championing HERGAMETOO at their home club, and then they attend any fixtures. So when Doncaster, for example, do their fixture, then Beth will go down and she will be the HERGAMETOO representative. Saves me and Lucy driving all around the country to try and be at all these fixtures. So it's great. And then obviously we do all this properly. So we speak to the girls first. We find out what they love about the campaign, what they want to achieve before we have them set as our ambassador. So all the girls are so extremely passionate about what we do. They absolutely love the idea of HERGAMETOO. So we are considered one big team together, and we're going to drive forward and hopefully create something even more special than what it already is. And they're also the point of contact for any of their fans experiencing sexism. So I'd like to think any Bristol Rovers fans that have any problems would come to Lucy or I about it and reporting it, and then we go to the club. Same for ambassadors, say Alison at Oldham. If an Oldham fan experiences anything, then they will go to Alison, and Alison will be the contact towards the club.
Yeah, so obviously on the beginning we went for FA Cup final day, and the night before, I can't remember who it was, but one of the girls said, oh, maybe I think it might have been Kaz actually, said, oh, maybe it's a good idea if we just set up our own social media for it instead of perhaps launching it on our own page. And thank goodness we did that, because I don't think the impact would have been the same. So yeah, I think the night before we sat at the Twitter, Facebook and Instagram page, and then we just kind of teased it on our own kind of Twitters, and then people were like, oh, okay, like what's going on? And before we launched at 10 a.m, I think that we had like 500 followers, which I thought was pretty cool. Even then I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty.
They were like, what's this all about? Yeah,
and then we, the video went up, and wow, chaos ensued. It's probably the only way. I mean, within the first minute we had something like 100 retweets, and if we were going through like our Twitter group chat message at the time, it was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We were so excited. And we were with the second highest trend within an hour. The video got 1 million views within 24 hours, and within the first 24 hours we had over 8.5 thousand retweets and over 16,000 likes. Even from that first day, we were getting supports from Football League clubs and the EFL, as well as having over 6,000 followers on Twitter within the first day. I mean, even since then, we've, that's amazing amount to achieve in that first kind of 24 hours. And then, yeah, we had a lot of news coverage from major news channels across the country within that first couple of weeks.
It was insane.
It really was.
So after 9 months, so we surveyed 394 female football fans, and the response was just both harrowing but also so important. It says 50 here, but now it's probably about 55 partnerships formed with professional clubs. Further partnerships formed with grassroots clubs. We've had new reporting systems in place at football stadiums, presence of HERGAMETOO on women's football kits, presence of HERGAMETOO at football stadiums. 2 million views, I've rounded that up. It is 1.9, but it's nearly there.
It will be there by today, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, 21.9 followers on Twitter, or is it 20.9? That might be my typo.
It's 20.9, but I'm sure it'll be 21,000 by today.
Yeah, exactly. HERGAMETOO merchandise sold to 11 different countries. So we've got people buying our merchandise in Greece, in America, in Czech Republic. It's just been insane how far it's reached. We've had someone in Thailand that did an education piece on us, and then she was wearing our hoodie, which is amazing. And all merchandise profits donated to the development of grassroots women's football. So we get, with our grassroots partners, they'll come to us and they'll say, we can really do with some kit, we can really do with some training equipment, we need some benches, some portable goals. The money from the merchandise will go to buying that for our grassroots partners. So it's all about supporting the young girls that want to play football.
Yeah, so with our partnerships across all the leagues so far, some of the biggest are obviously Leeds, Everton, Sheffield Wednesday, Bury AFC, which they're doing a dedicated weekend this weekend, which I'm very lucky to attending as the representative of HERGAMETOO. Yeah, I mean, every single partnership for me it gives me a sense of pride that I've never felt before. And just to see when fans of that team both men and women reply saying, oh, this is amazing, so pleased you're doing this, or then you see people tagging their own club and be like, hang on a minute, why aren't we where are we doing this? I think especially when we partner with our own club, of course, Bristol Road was one of the first, and that was really at the very beginning. I think that was July, August time. And it was, even then it felt like we were kind of babies in this. We kind of knew what we wanted to do, but since then kind of the partnership's grown, like how we've been able to do it has grown. And to get partnerships before, with 3 Premier League clubs before we're even a year old is incredible. And we also have partnerships in the WSL as well. Reading FC Women is our only WSL partner so far, and I hope that will grow alongside Coventry United Women as well.
So a partnership basically means mainly it's a pledge against sexist abuse in football. We want to work with these clubs to stamp it out. They are the biggest role models to all of the fans across the UK. So when they can say that they're against it, then it really sends out a strong message. A press release announcing support. So they've all been really good in putting it out there and saying, we are supporting HERGAMETOO. We support our female fans and staff, players, etc., etc. A reporting system in place, which we've touched on. So obviously that didn't exist 10 months ago, which is crazy. I remember saying to Bristol Rovers when we had the chat with them that I'm a season ticket holder and I go to every game, but I wouldn't know where to go if I experienced any sexism or sexual assault or anything like that. I would not know where to go. So we found that with all the ambassadors we spoke to, they wouldn't know where to go either. So it's a case of speaking to the clubs and making sure that A, they've got it in place, but B, women know where to go. So it's posters in the back of toilets, in the clubhouse, in the club shop, around the stadium, wherever they can, and on social media. Presence for HERGAMETOO, so we've had perimeter boards, LED boards, screen presence. Working with us to actively encourage women and girls to attend games. So we've seen free tickets be given out already to local girls' schools, local grassroots teams, create a safe space for women at the stadium. So whether that's having a place for them to stand or having the reporting system in place that we said, working with us to raise awareness of the HERGAMETOO message, and working with us and their affiliated community trust to educate. So we want to work with clubs to take modules to schools to really try and shape the mindset of the younger generation.
Yeah, so we're obviously not just partnered with just football clubs, we're also partnered with other organisations that we're really, really proud about. Hope and Glory, who from the very first day came to us and did our logo, which is something that we're really, really proud about, and also our official merchandise partner, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. We've also partnered with Fair Game, of course, which has been really, really great to work together with you guys, and the work they've been doing is, really, really incredible. We've also partnered with Football Manager, which is really exciting to see, to see a presence of HERGAMETOO in gaming, something that, lots and lots of people love to play, sports games like Football Manager, like FIFA. So to be able to actually see, kind of our LED boards within that game is so cool. But we've also partnered with different kind of organisations such as the British Transport Police, who have their own reporting system, and I think that's really, really important to align with them, because instances can happen at any point, whether it's in the game, whether it's in the pub, and also on travelling to and from games as well. Obviously their reporting system is separate to ours, but we support them and we highlight their messaging service as well. We've also partnered with Brown Swans, who are the LGBTQ plus supporters group within Swansea City, and we've also partnered with JD Football, have been a really, really big support with us, through Jess, who is our United ambassador, actually works for them, and yeah, they've been really, really amazing. They did a blog on us when they were there at the game, the Leeds United game, and they wanted to find out a little bit more about us, so they've been a real great support as well.
So we got our first Premier League club in Everton, which was on Boxing Day last year, which was a huge milestone for us. We just wanted to get one, and now we've got 3. So when Everton did that, it was really sort of set the mark and set the standard for other clubs to follow suit. And they actually announced it, which marked the anniversary of the Dick Care Ladies fixtures, which attracted a crowd of over 53,000. And I think they had like 15,000 locked out or something. Like, it was huge. Before the FA issued a 50-year ban on women's football. So it was really fitting that we did that on Boxing Day. And people have to remember that women's football, particularly during the war, was a great source of entertainment for people, and it was really, really popular. It was only because of the 50-year ban which has set them back so much. So yeah, so it was amazing for Everton to do that, and the coverage of that was insane. It was on BBC National News, as you can see in the screen grab, and yeah, it was really fantastic. And Everton have been great since then as well. It was the initial pledge, but now we're working with them to do dedicated fixtures to encourage women to attend games and stuff like that. So it's been really awesome.
Yeah, so obviously our 3 Premier League partners are obviously Everton, Leeds, and Brentford. The support that those 3 clubs have given us so far have been absolutely incredible. When Leeds announced the partnership, they were really keen for players on both the men's team and within their women's team to wear HERGAMETOO tops to announce the partnership. So it was Olivia Smart, Rafinha, and Calvin Phillips, which was, you know, to see that before it even come out was just like a pinch me moment, because, you know, these are well-known people. And then when Brentford announced Christian Eriksen wore our warm-up top, which again, you know, as part of the announcement, and that was again something that was, you know, we really support. We're really pleased about the support that we've got from, you know, these high-profile players. You know, the players at the top of the game, and, you know, if we're getting support from people like them, then hopefully it will make, you know, not make other fans listen, but actually make them recognize that, you know, sexism is an issue, but it's also a game for all as well.
Yeah, and it's important to have those role models, isn't it? Because again, it's what these people look up to. So if they're saying sexism isn't okay, then it will make a difference. So yeah, news coverage has been insane. We've had BBC Sports, Sky Sports, Independent, The Mirror, Talk Sport. It's just been, especially, well, the first 24 hours was insane, but since then we do get a lot of coverage, especially as each club announces a partnership. We get mainly like the local news to that area. So say like Coventry was like Radio Midlands were phoning us, and we've had 5 Live, we had CNN International as well, which was incredible. So I did an interview with them. I did Euro News interview. Yeah, it's just been incredible. The amount of coverage we've had about the campaign has really helped with spreading our message far and wide.
Yeah, so one of the presents of HERGAMETOO has been on football kits. Bristol Rovers women are the only team to put us at the front of their shirt, which is their waist, but they actually offered it to us. I think that was within the first month or so of the campaign through the community trust. And, you know, when they told us about the idea, you know, they wanted to do that, we were completely touched and blown away by this gesture. I was fortunate enough myself to be a part of that kit launch. And I've you know, both myself and Kaz have one of those shirts each that we bought, because the money that those shirts for ours go back into supporting free girls football sessions through Bristol Rovers Community Trust. So we're so proud of that. But also we've run sleeve patches for Forest Green women and Malvern Town ladies. There's lots of grassroots clubs now that are doing a similar thing. And, you know, we love to see it, you know, when that's the thing that kind of always surprises me, because, you know, with the grassroots, you know, we know that they don't have the resources that, you know, these top level clubs have, but also then, you know, they're also limited to things because of sponsorship. But, you know, when they say, oh, you know, we really want to put you on our sleeves, we want to do this, we want to do that, you know, it always means a lot. And we are really keen to look at doing more sleeve patches in the future. And yeah, it'd be amazing to see, you know, perhaps all of our grassroots clubs with our sleeve patches on, but that's something that we hopefully can work towards.
Yeah, so I'll just rattle through these next ones. So I realise we've been talking for ages and we're probably quite short time. Yeah, we've just got some, like I said earlier, about the stadium presence. So perimeter boards, Bristol Rovers and Newport. We've seen both of these in person. It's been amazing. LEDs, we saw the Exeter ones in person, which made us quite emotional. We're in the away end and we saw it. Forest Green, they have theirs every game, but when we saw it live on Sky Sports, it was pretty incredible. Big screen advertising. So this is quite important because not everyone has social media. So if people can see it on the big screen and then they say where to report instances of sexism, then obviously that helps those people that don't use social media. So we got Peterborough and Northampton here. We also have it at MK Dons, Bristol Rovers, Sheffield Wednesday and other places. These are the reporting systems that we spoke about. So each club that we've partnered with has got a poster which announces our support for each other, and then it also says where you go to report sexist abuse. So if you're sat in your seat, you can anonymously text at Millwall and begin your message with hate and just say I'm in block A, row H, seat A or whatever, and then you could say this is what's happening, and then it could be dealt with almost instantly. Otherwise there's emailing services, there's phone services, and also all the stewards have been educated on what to do in these situations. So here's an example of them also being up at the stadium. So these are like on the back of the ladies' toilet doors and stuff like that. Program features as well. It's nice to have articles written. Some clubs do it from the perspective of their female fans, which is a nice touch. Dedicated fixtures. So Lucy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so Exeter City were the very first club to dedicate a whole weekend to HERGAMETOO. So it meant that both the men and the women played back to back. So Saturday and Sunday, both played at St James's Park. And yeah, so all the players wore warm-up tops with our logo on. Which they've all been signed and they will be donated. We're just in the process of doing that. The women had their biggest ever attendance of almost 14,000 people, which was really, really incredible. And there was lots of little girls that attended their first Exeter City games because of this weekend. And then Bristol City also did similar things. So they gave out free tickets to local girls and girls' schools and football teams. Lots of them was their first ever match too, so they gave out the flyers with the tickets. Leah and Eve were there, which was incredible, and they were able to have an interview before the match, and they also spoke to Nigel Pearson, Bristol City's manager, who publicly supported the campaign and the work that they were doing, and I know that meant a lot to us. We were also on the big screen and also the LEDs as well. So yeah, that was another really important one. And yes, of course, Leeds United did it against Manchester United on Sky Sports. This, the social media coverage that day was incredible from both Leeds United and JD Football. To see the players warming up in HERGAMETOO shirts and to be broadcast around the world, not just on Sky Sports but other countries as well, was a really, really proud moment for us. And there was a lot of traction on social media that day, so we were really, really proud of that.
Like we said earlier, presence in gaming, so Football Manager, but also partner with ECL Gaming to try and get the message into sort of FIFA and things like that, because sexism unfortunately is a problem in gaming as well. So we have our own little team that sort of deal with that, but for Football Manager to do this was incredible because it's such a big game, and you can actually click on the advertising boards and it takes people to our website, so that's quite nice. And merchandise, so we've got merchandise by Hope and Glory, and it's amazing to see so many people buying our hoodies, our t-shirts, championing the message wherever they can, and we've also got an amazing football shirt that Hope and Glory did as well, and we sold 106 in the first 2 weeks with £1,590 raised to donate to grassroots women's football, which was incredible, and we sold so many more since then as well. So we've got a hefty pot of money which we're looking into how we can best distribute that across all of our grassroots teams.
Yeah, and actually someone was wearing them at the Manchester Derby on Sunday, and lots of people messaged us after to say, I swear I've just seen a HERGAMETOO shirt on TV, which is really cool. And it was actually Samara, who is our Man City ambassador, so we were very pleased for her to be wearing that and also to be spotted on TV. So a month into the campaign, we decided to do our survey, where we surveyed almost 400 female football fans. We wanted to kind of get their experiences too, and then this is what we took to the clubs in our initial kind of partnerships, and over 90% of female supporters has seen sexist abuse online targeted towards women in football. So it doesn't just mean a fan, you know, it could be a player, a referee, a pundit, a journalist, so somebody involved in football. And so that was, you know, a very serious kind of a very significant figure. And some of the results when we kind of went into where we gave people an opportunity to kind of talk about their experiences a bit more, was really, really harrowing and really difficult to read. And I think all the girls that kind of read through the survey results said the same, that, you know, if they had probably a quarter of those experiences, they would never want to step foot back into a football game themselves. And when we did the video and then we did the survey, we were like, right, this is something now we need to do more, because we've got the research to back us up, but obviously we want to do more research. And yeah, just under 63% had experienced sexist abuse online because of football, and over and 50% had experienced it in either at a game or in a pub. So again, very, you know, significant number of women and girls who did experience sexist abuse, which, you know, is so disappointing. But this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So finally, we just want to encourage the next generation. So we want to start creating visibility and championing female roles in the game, building a safe space for women at stadiums and areas of surrounding football, take action against sexist abuse, donate funds towards the development of grassroots football, encourage girls to attend live matches, and educate in schools and push the message of equality in football. So we've got a lot of work to do. We're aware that we've got a lot of mindsets to change, but it's great. We've got support from Callum Best, Laura Woods, Michelle Owen, Hope Solo retweeted our original video. It's just been amazing to see all the supports from well-respected public figures and football clubs. So yeah, we've got a long way to go, but we're really excited on where this journey is going to take us. And yeah, the support we've had has just been incredible. So we're really happy.
I mean, Kaz, Lucy, I'm breathless after that.
Sorry.
I bet you both are. It's incredible what you've achieved. You're not even 10 months old yet, you know, and I mean, that's inspirational. You know, listening to Kelly before, you know, talking about, you know, how to get people to think and act differently. You know, one of the key thing, a response, you know, from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, you know, even this morning, how do we change our responses? And I think the work that you've done will have changed a lot of people's actions and responses, and that's incredible sort of legacy. And as you say, so much to go. I was reading a report, I think that, you know, the level of misogyny within the game is quite staggering. It staggered me, you know, 2/3, whether it's completely obvious or sort of overt or not. But it just is incredible in this day and age that it's so prevalent within a game that we all love. And, you know, we share the values, I think, of what, you know, people within the game want to aspire to. And yet there are so many that are resistant to that sort of change. So this work is absolutely critical and important. I suppose my question would be, you know, as that campaign grows and develops, you've got your mission to carry on and develop. What else is it from within the game that you're looking for the leaders within the game, the male leaders specifically, to enable you to be able to do that change the game? When we talk about the governance of football, when we talk about, you know, equality, diversity, inclusion, you know, about women within the game, the growth of the women's game. What would you like to see happen in the next 12 months, if I would say that, within the game?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that can be done. We've had some research done on women at board level and women in leadership roles. Nat helped us out massively with that. And it's scary, like how little women are in leadership roles in football. So I think more visibility of that will help massively. It will just get women a bit more respect if there are more visibility of women at the top level. In terms of the women's game, I mean, Sky Sports have been brilliant in covering the WSL. So yeah, so more of that, make it more of a norm for it to be broadcast. And this is a very, very recent thing. So we need to carry this on, despite all the horrible comments that you get under a Twitter post when the WSL's on. Keep it going. Obviously, Alex Scott presenting Football Focus is massive. So I think it's going really well in terms of what we can do. But I do think at football clubs, more can be done internally to recruit more female role models in the game. But that's obviously what we're here to do. We're here to challenge clubs. We've got talks going with the EFL at the moment, and we've already challenged them on a few things that they've done. If they're so big on equality, then we want to see it, and we want to see it visibly at football stadiums, in the grounds, at the clubs. So yeah, that's kind of what we want to do, but that's something we're going to have to work on, I think, for a good while before we start to see a significant change.
Yeah, definitely. That I was going to say a similar thing. It's just, you know, we know the progress that we started to make is amazing, but we know that we're just at the beginning and we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it staggers me that the proportion, I think the statistics, I think we might come on to this soon, the statistics of women within leadership roles within football is, I don't know, 1 in 10, 10%, 11%, 12%, it's incredibly low. And I think we all know, surely, that a more diverse workforce is a more dynamic business or industry or whatever else. So football really does have its head stuck in the sand, you know, and that frustrates me. I think it obviously frustrates, you know, on International Women's Day, when we're celebrating the roles and responsibilities that women have within the game, the work that is being done, and the opportunities that are being missed for football to grow audiences, to have a bigger, wider engagement, to have better, safer stadiums, to have environments where people are welcomed and people's behaviours can change. And I think that's all this work is crucial. So you know, that's important. You know, my daughter's 13. She's playing in the Surrey Cup final this weekend. She's looking forward to that. You know, from her perspective, what do you see? You touched on some of the youngsters that you're working with and the development of the grassroots game and the merchandise profits going back into the grassroots game. How do you see the next generation, where they'll be supported, where they'll be inspired? You know, what are you looking forward to for that sort of generation, my daughter's generation?
I would say it's, you know, role models. I think growing up, even when I was younger, I probably saw, like, say, a couple of female role models within women's football, Rachel Yankee, for example, and Gabby Logan in terms of a presenter, but there wasn't many that you could look up to and think, oh, I could be like that. But nowadays I feel like there is, and I think that's because, you know, like Alex Scott, like Steph Horton, like Leah Williamson, there's so many incredible women within football, not just playing but presenting, and referees like Rebecca Welsh, for example, that people can, you know, that young girls can look up to. And, you know, and especially with more visibility, I think visibility is so important. And, you know, I think if you can see it, you can be it. And I think that's something that's really, really important. So yeah, obviously good luck to your daughter. And yeah, and I think also with that, I went to under 13s local game to me, and they were playing against a boys team the week before, and they'd actually tweeted us and said that they got a lot of horrible comments, you know, they're saying, oh, easy to win, easy to beat, and then they went and beat them. And then when I came down and watched them, they won again, the girls, but they played against a boys team, but they were completely different and totally respectful of them. And I think it's about respect, but it's also from the older generation as well as the, you know, the younger generation. It's actually educating and make people realize that, you know, football is a game for all, and, you know, anyone should be allowed to play the game if they choose to, and anyone should be allowed to enjoy the game.
Yeah, I've just had a message pop up, which is from Stacey Pope. So she wrote the report on the sexism and misogyny. So she wants to hook up and maybe engage with you guys. So we'll make sure that's connected as well afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think we're pretty much out of time. I mean, we could talk for hours and hours, but really fascinating to hear the story of HERGAMETOO, and fantastic catch up with you again, as I have done over the last year. A lot of work to do, but yeah, I mean, everybody is incredibly supportive of you. We're here to support you know, HERGAMETOO as well, and I know the impact it's having across the game is fabulous. So well done to you both again, and the rest of everybody else involved in the organisation. And it's been a pleasure to host this morning.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.